Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Carla. Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you, girl. You did the damn thing in this movie. Oh my God. I was so riveted by your portrayal of Irene. I don't even have enough adjectives to adequately
Oh,
describe it. Like it was really fabulous.
thank
I
you very
I feel
much.
I feel so honored to have been able to witness that. Um, Having said that, I was viscerally moved by the fact that the authorities kept reminding Irene, when he turns 18, you're not going to have any control over what happens with him. Do you think that the medical community and society adequately deal with the mental anguish of the caregivers when it comes to something like that by large? Do you think that the caregivers are ignored because they just kept saying, oh, when he turns 18, but they never really tried to help her?
I think there's such a lack of advocacy, and I think you caught it because most people are talking about all these other things, but you are the first person that actually mentioned it. So kudos to you. I believe that that actually was the straw that broke the camel's back, in addition to her diagnoses, right? And I think there was a fear and an urgency that kicked in as soon as that happened. And the fact that she did not quite understand fully the language really did not allow her to understand and investigate the other options that were, in front of her. And I think she was already behind, you know, in all manners and degrees. I mean, she was not able to understand even the therapist saying, schizophrenics don't actually act out in violence, even though she showed him these pictures that she had found on his computer. She was working from a great deal of displacement. And when you do things from a deficit, you are not going to be able to gain. And so that is the tragedy, like watching this unravel and how this woman is struggling to keep her son, who she's losing right in front of her. And I think oftentimes we feel that way, not just about our own families or our own kids, but even ourselves, to keep up with everything and all. It's just not just with technology, but just with life and the combination of everything. It's so overwhelming. And that is the complexity of life.
Yeah, I was saying to someone a little earlier that in the black community, mental health is a thing. They don't like to talk about it, they don't like to address it, they don't even like to deal with it. And I was wondering how you feel about that in the Asian community, because I feel like it's only communities of color that have that issue. Like other sectors of society don't have that issue, but communities of color are like, no, you should keep it in the family, you should never tell anybody outside the family. And sometimes you just need to talk to somebody that's not related to you.
There is absolutely a stigma connected with mental health in our community. And I think there is a marginalization of what we are able to afford. We're just trying to get a medical checkup, not let alone therapy. I mean, therapy was never even a question in my family. That is an added on. It's like, oh, you have a gym membership? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? So it's like these are extras that we can't afford. So let's just stick to the fact that you are eating, you got a roof over your head, you're lucky. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to go outside the box because you're not grateful for the things that you have. And I think that there is a lack of education and a lack of actual accessibility for us because we are not the same, and we never have been, right? We've always been something, either coming from another country, brought over against our will, working on the, railroad, pulling the rickshaw. There's so many different ways that we have this generation, transmission of trauma that we don't even know that we carry. And this woman was not even born in America. So she has it directly, and she's dealing with grief of her husband, dying, her own loss of her own, health, and even the loss of her son. And I think that there's so many topics that are embedded in this movie that are, I guess, not necessarily billboarded, but they are there. And I think that's why you probably felt it on a deep level, because it wasn't just about, the story that happened. It was the story behind the story that could not be told, that you felt, right? And I think this is a felt movie, not an explained movie. And I often say that there really are more questions than answers after you see this movie.
I would totally agree with that. I have so many more things, girl, that I could discuss with you because, like you said, there's so many different layers to the film. But that is my time. Lucy Liu, thank you so much for your artistry. Thank you for your time today. I'm telling you, you did it. You did this. You did this within an inch of your life. You really did. I applaud you. Snaps and
Thank you
claps, Diva.
so much. Thank you. That means a lot. And I want this to be a story that you can communicate to your family, your community as well, because it's universal. And we have to get out of that shame, blame corner. We're stuck there.
Not for long.
Mm.
Not for long.
Hmm.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lucy.
sweetie.